If I told you that a man could scam Wall Street out of $600 million using nothing but third-grade physics, you would call him insane. But a high school dropout butcher did exactly that. No complex algorithms, no high-tech gadgets, just a hell of a lot of seawater. But he convinced Wall Street it was pure salad oil. And when those valves cracked open, $2 billion evaporated in an instant. On November 19th, 1963, a 300-pound heavyweight nearly collapsed the American financial system with the world's simplest scam. Meet Anthony Angelis, a butcher's son from the Bronx who never even finished high school. Yet, Wall Street's sharpest bankers were lining up to throw cash at him. Even American Express, yeah, the black card guys, vouched for every single pound of his salad oil. Even Warren Buffett nearly took the biggest hit of his career, $20 million, because of this con artist. The con? It was insultingly simple. No complex financial engineering, no crypto, no algorithms. He used a physics fact known by every third grader. Oil floats. Fill the tanks with seawater. Float a few feet of oil on top. No matter how they dip the stick, it came up oily every single time. 1.8 billion pounds of phantom oil, backing $600 million in loans. Everyone did their due diligence. Everyone signed the checks. But when the house of cards fell, they realized the truth. They had bought nothing but a massive aquarium filled with salt water. To understand the con, you first have to understand the common. He was a career criminal. Back in World War II, he made a fortune supplying beef to the US Army. That was when he discovered a loophole. Government elites and bankers? Sometimes they were easier to trick than a housewife at the market. He injected water into meat back then. He got caught. He paid fines, but he learned the most important lesson. If the lie is big enough and the bribes are big enough, rules are just suggestions, not laws. In 1958, he was back. He set up shop in Bayonne, New Jersey, as Allied Crude Vegetable Oil. No more meat. This time, he chose salad oil. Why salad oil? Because back then, it was liquid gold. With the post-war boom and export plans, demand was exploding. Angelis had a bold plan. He leased 140 giant tanks, claiming they held half of America's entire salad oil supply. But banks need proof. He needed a name they trusted. Enter the ultimate mark, American Express. Here was the play. Amex agents guarded the tanks, confirmed the oil, and issued warehouse receipts. Banks saw the Amex stamp and lent money, no questions asked. It was a classic Ponzi scheme. Pump in seawater, fool the inspectors, get the receipts, take receipts to the bank, get cash, use cash to buy more empty tanks, pump more seawater, and scam more loans. 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, by 1963, $600 million. But here was the problem. Angelis did not stash the cash. He was a gambler. He took that stolen money and went all in. He tried to corner the global salad oil market. He bought futures contracts like a madman. His logic? I control the supply. So if I buy the futures, prices must go to the moon. Then I can use the profits to actually fill the tanks. Turning the lie into the truth. At first, it worked. Everyone thought he was too big to fail. Bankers ignored red flags just to keep the commissions flowing. When people asked questions, the bankers just shrugged. Amex signed off on it What are you worried about? Until November 1963, disaster struck. The Soviet deal, which should have been a huge bullish signal, fell through. The Kennedy administration killed the exports. The market crashed instantly. It crushed Angelis. His broker called.
Pino, we need cash, right now!
Margin calls need real, cold, hard cash. But he had no money, just tanks of seawater and worthless paper. On November 19th, Allied declared bankruptcy. With that, the empire collapsed. But even then, American Express was still in denial. They stood before the tanks praying, maybe the books are just off. But when they opened the valves, they realized Angelis was a genius. Why did the tests always pass in previous years? Because of a secret underground pipe network. It was a choreographed magic show. Inspect Tank 1? Workers pump the real oil there. Walk to Tank 2? The oil beat them there. One batch of oil, posing for a dozen different tanks. But now, the show was over, without the crew. Inspectors opened the valves for real. Tank 1, seawater. Tank 5, seawater. Tank 10, still seawater. Some did not even have water, just rusty air. 140 tanks, empty. The salad oil empire was nothing but rust and salt. As the seawater flowed, the dominoes fell. Ira Haupt and Company, a historic brokerage firm, was wiped out. They were his main broker. They stole client money to cover the fat man's debts, and now it was all gone. A $20 million hole back then? An astronomical sum. Executives called Angelis. Dead silence. Ira Haupt went under, but it got worse. Panic spread, like a virus. Because under NYSE rules, if one firm fails due to fraud, everyone else might have to pay. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Lehman, Wall Street royalty was left holding the bag for Angelis' seawater. That week, Wall Street was chaos. The real victims? Ordinary people? Friday afternoon, the doors locked. Jobs gone. Life savings frozen. What did they do wrong? Nothing. They trusted the receipts. They trusted the system. And the system failed them. Then, the universe had a sixth sense of humor. Friday, November 22nd, 3 days after the scandal broke, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The nation froze. The stock exchange closed early. Ironically, that tragedy saved Wall Street. It gave bankers a weekend to clean up the mess, while the world mourned. Without that pause, we might have seen a second Great Depression, while investors panic sold. A 33-year-old in Omaha was doing the math. Warren Buffett. He was not famous yet, but he was smart. He asked 2 questions. 1, can Amex afford this loss? Yes, it hurts, but they will survive. 2, will this kill their brand? Buffett did some famous boots on the ground research. He went to local diners and watched the cash registers. People were still paying with their green Amex cards. Nobody cared about salad oil. Nobody knew the fat man. They trusted the plastic, not the tanks. For Buffett, that was the strike zone. So he went all in. He dumped 25% of his assets into American Express stock. That investment went up 10 times. It became a legend. Buffett proved a simple rule. When the tide goes out and you see others swimming naked, that is when you pick up the gold. Finally, what about the butcher? Anthony Angelis served just 7 years. Do the math. He earned $200,000 for every day he sat in that cell. He got out, kept pulling meat scams, and died a nobody in 1985. The man is dead, but the game never dies. 60 years later, look around. FTX and SBF, that was just salad oil on the blockchain. Theranos, just high-tech empty tanks. Why do we keep falling for it? Because scammers don't sell oil. They don't sell crypto. They sell our own greed. They promise a shortcut, a sure thing, endorsed by the experts. So next time you see a flawless investment opportunity, remember the New Jersey harbor. Remember the seawater. Ask yourself if American Express can be played. What makes you think you can beat the house?